Information in this next stage episode may be sensitive to some viewers. View with care. Maria Segura is a wife, a mother, and an artist. Like many of us, Maria had dreams. Her dream was to be a reporter, but as we all know, life happens. For Maria, this was a good life, a loving husband, 2 healthy children, and in 2018, an unexpected bundle of joy was on the way.
It was good, right in the beginning. I didn't foresee anything. I just felt like we would have, the indication would be that baby was healthy and normal, So I was scheduled to do a prenatal screening test. It's like a blood test.
Due to a lab mix-up, 6 months into her pregnancy, she had yet to hear anything about the results.
So I reschedule. I go in, I take the retest. I get a call from the doctor at home. And she says, "I'm sorry, but your baby has been confirmed to have trisomy 21, Down syndrome."
Now Maria was faced with a decision that no mother should have to make.
And then she says, "Well, you have 3 options. You can have an abortion, or you can give your baby up for adoption, or you can keep your baby."
Did they give you a time limit? Did they say you need to come up with this decision in 3 to 4 days?
Well,
a week?
I was told from the hospital in San Francisco that I have to make a decision soon, as I was very far along, and not only that, with my previous cesarean sections. I think they were concerned about that. So I did. I was on a time limit. I had to decide soon, and was scary. But when I had to decide, like I said, I just decided for myself. One day I just sat quietly and I said to I just said, I don't know, I just followed my heart. Like I had this heaviness on my shoulder, this heaviness in my heart, like it just didn't feel right. And I said to myself, I'm going to follow what my heart tells me, and not what everybody else thinks or what society. I'm going to follow my heart. And then then when I made that decision, when I decided I was going to do that, that's when I knew I had to keep Benjamin. And I said, I'm going to keep him. When I told my husband, I'm going to keep him, we're going to keep him. And after I told him that we were going to keep him, it's like this heaviness went away, and everything felt lighter, and everything felt brighter.
Could you tell me when they told you the options that you had? I mean, at 6 months, I can't even imagine what your mind must have been thinking, that you were going to abort a child that was this far along. Can you walk me through how they explained to you how this was going to happen?
Well, I'm not a medical kind of person, so I can't really. I was given a list, and I would make that phone call. And but I did inquire to learn a little bit about. I asked, well, what is the process? What happens if I decide to pursue this? Like in general terms, I'd have to go in for the first time. I would have to go in. And then they would, like I said, I'm not a medical, they would administer something that would, slowly kill the baby or the fetus, the unborn child. And then you go in the next morning, and then that's when the whole process would happen. And the baby would be, I'd go under the knife, but the baby would be removed piece by piece. And that's, I don't know. I just, like I said, just that vision, and I felt like I'll never be able to see him. Like even if I did abort him, I wanted to see him, but I wouldn't be able to see him piece by piece. It would break my heart. I just had to do what was right for me and for my baby. And I think that's what my goal is. My goal and my hope is to help other moms like me not to be in that position where they might be influenced by society, or they might be influenced by doctors or friends, or, I mean, influences, yes. I mean, you can get so much information out there that it's going to confuse you. It's going to confuse the mother. And a mother needs to put all that aside, everything, and really think from her heart. I mean, I think you can think from your heart and feel what is right for you and for your baby. Because, you know, you, in the end, you might let that baby go and regret it for the rest of your life. I mean, I am happy that I made the right choice for me and for my baby. This is my little boy. He's Benjamin. He's my son. He's lovely. He's a sweetheart. He's an angel. And all he's done is give us, you know, happiness and joy in our lives. You know.
Did you ever have a point where you were angry that you didn't know sooner?
Yes, I was really, I would say I was angry. I was angry and I was sad. I was everything. I was angry because I felt like things weren't going my way, like going the right way. You know, with my results getting lost, getting a delay. I felt like, why is this taking so long? Why is it so close to where, you know, I mean, close to 6 months, you're almost there. You know, 5.5 months, it's baby's like big, you know, baby's growing. I was very upset. I mean, I wasn't happy at all.
Do you feel that you were pressured into keeping him, or was this a solid decision that you knew?
Keeping him? Was I pressured to keeping him? I wouldn't say I was pressured. I said I made the decision on my own, knowing that this I'm not going to listen to anybody out there. I mean, the abortion rates for babies with Down syndrome is really high. I mean, it shows it just looking at it. It's people are looking at them as a defect child. Yeah, they're garbage. 90% here. I mean, over 80? I think it's over 70% or something like that in America. Around 90% in the UK, and some places maybe even higher. But just looking at those numbers, it shows you, yeah, this baby's garbage. Who wants him?
And let's talk about where you are now, because he's not garbage.
He's not. He's not. Look at. He's my beautiful little boy. He's wonderful. They're beautiful inside and outside, and they also have us. These children have something to offer in society too, whatever that may be. But they're people. They may have differences, but they're people too.
What has Benjamin brought to your family since you brought him into this world?
I don't know, a lot of love. He's brought a lot of love, a lot of smiles. You know, sometimes he gets fussy just like a little regular baby, and you know, he's just like a regular little baby. He's a little boy. He's just a person.
And now you're on this journey where you're putting together a film to really share not only your story, but you've had an opportunity to talk with other moms who are raising Down syndrome children. Some are very different situations than yours. This has really catapulted you into a totally different place in your life. How have you responded to that?
To my direction of what I'm doing?
Yeah, to your new, because it seems like this is now your
yes,
passion.
It is. It's
your next stage.
My next stage. I went through an emotional mess. I mean, so like, oh gosh, you'd have to really feel it from the inside, you know, like. And I felt strongly after my baby was born. I felt like knowing, gosh, you know, I nearly let him go. I nearly let my beautiful baby go. I nearly did. And it almost, I felt like I had to do something. And, you know, there are other voices out there that give people, that talk about this Down syndrome awareness or Down syndrome advocate. That's great. I think the more the better. And I want to be that inspiration and that voice to other mothers too. To touch someone else's heart. To a mother who might be going through the same thing that I've been going through and having to make that decision. And I just feel strongly that this is something I have to do. And if I could just help one person, then great. If I help a few, then great. If I help many, then great. But Benjamin, although he has trisomy 21, he's totally worth it.
And you are now sharing your story through a film. So tell me about where that film is right now.
The documentary film, it's called A Life Worth Living. And we are still in the production phase. We have been interviewing other mothers with their children that have Down syndrome. A Life Worth Living documentary, it's my mission to help other moms like me, very simple. It's about following the story of my life and the story of and following my son and following the lives of other mothers with their loved ones with Down syndrome, to show that they are people too, that they have their challenges, and then they have their goals, and then they have their personalities, and they have their dreams, that they may have that extra special chromosome, but in the end they are people too, and their lives are worth living.
What is your goal, the overall goal from putting this film out? What do you hope to achieve?
I just hope to inspire other mothers, like I said, that go through that situation and make a decision for themselves, and not to get confused by all the information that is out there. Sometimes it's just too much information, especially when you're pregnant and your body's going through so many hormones and you've fallen in love with a baby. I mean, be careful, because a lot of people will tell you something, but it really, ultimately, it's your baby. It's your baby. You're the one, you're growing that baby. And, do what's right for the little one and for yourself as well.
Tell us a little bit about the stories that you are showcasing in the film, because you have a son who's a baby, but there's other stories of more grown-up adult children.
The story, it's of 3 different perspectives, so different lives. My situation, I went through the prenatal screening. The other 2, another woman, she didn't find out about her baby until the baby was born, that the baby had Down syndrome. We have another a mother or a grandmother who adopted her grandson as part of, sort of like a mom, like a guardian. So she raised him. So even though there are 3 different stories, but we have one thing in common: a baby with Down syndrome, and to showcase that, yes, sweetie.
Yes, we're talking about
That's
you.
Right.
We're talking about you.
So yes, it's just a story of everybody's lives, and we have one thing in common: we want to tell a story.
Is it good for you to also see these other women and see where their children are in their lives?
Absolutely, it helps. We were having that conversation. When we sat down for an interview, and we all got together and got to know each other better, and I did say something like, now I know what, I'm going to be kind of, I felt like I was seeing myself, in that kind of phase of life in the future, seeing them. I was like, I'm going to be kind of like you. My son's going to be a teenager one day, and I'm going to be in that position, and he'll be able to do all these cool things. You're right.
If you were to say one thing to a mom who may have just received a diagnosis like you received, what would your words of wisdom be to her?
That I totally understand what she's going through. That I truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, understand. And maybe understand the decisions you have to make. That I understand you'll probably be crying all day, everywhere. But you're gonna fall in love with your baby. Like, he's just a little person. And it's just a little person.
So for you personally, it's so obvious you love Benjamin more than anything, and he's a perfect addition to your family. Can you talk to us what it's been like for your other two kids? How has this experience having Benjamin been for them?
Well, my daughter's really helpful. She just loves him and adores him, and she'll play with him. I was like, I'm gonna play with Benjamin. She'll play with him and sing him these little silly songs. And, we do things together. As a family, I took the kids out. We go swimming together, and I think I don't know. I think it feels like I don't know. We're just whole. Like when I brought him home when he was born, it felt like he was always there. Like he was always part of the family. Because sometimes moms will ask, "Oh, are the kids jealous?" But no, they're great. My son loves him to death, and he gives him tummy bubbles, and we just do it together. We do things together like any normal family.
Do they feel like this is a challenge or a burden at all, or are they just all in like you?
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just like I said, I don't know. We get up in the morning, we have breakfast, we take the dog for a walk. We'll go to the park, meet the kids, and there's nothing really special. He has his doctor's appointments from now and then again, but my older kids have doctor's appointments too. So, but yeah, it's been really good.
And has it been an adjustment for you? Were you worried about milestones or recognizing some of those? Has that been a challenge for you? Maybe seeing things you saw in your older kids that you haven't seen in Benjamin yet, and how does that make you feel emotionally?
My kids, when Winston, my daughter and my son, they met their milestones quickly. And I know it's going to take Benjamin a little time, and I do tell the kids just to be a little bit more patient and just to help him out. And he's doing good right now, but it's fine. Everyone has their milestones. Even a child with no Down syndrome might not start walking till later than his brother or sister. So I'm okay with it. And everything's fine.
And later on down the road, we're seeing already now that there's medical advancements in how to help children who are living with Down syndrome. How do you feel about that? Is that something that you would be willing to look at later on down the road if there was an ability to help Benjamin further? Or is that something you're just not ready to think about now? Would you?
Medical advances in the future that might help him or guide him. If that opportunity was available, I would look into it. But right now, I just want to enjoy him.
You're happy with who he is right now.
He's perfect.
Maria is currently producing a documentary film about the journey of families faced with the heartache and overwhelming love for those living with Down syndrome. What lies ahead for Benjamin? We still don't know. As science and genetic therapies improve, there may be additional treatments for those like Benjamin. What lies ahead for those families? Those are the stories Maria wants to share. Maria is currently producing a documentary film about the journey of families faced with the heartache and overwhelming love for those living with Down syndrome. To donate to her project, visit alifeworthlivingdocumentary.com.